My name is Obi, an optometrist and business owner, all the way from South Africa. I'm the managing director and founder of a company called Vision Straight, which is a business management and service consultancy company for the eye care industry. What we basically do, we look at where optometric businesses are versus where they need to be, and we help them get to that level. I'm also the co-founder of iAfrica Media, which is the biggest online media platform for all things eye care on the African continent. Today, I find it to be an absolute honor and a privilege to be part of this amazing conference, the Eye Care Conference in Poland, organized by Justina and her amazing team. Thank you so much for creating an opportunity for leaders all over the world to come and be speakers on your amazing conference. I'm fully confident that you have all been enjoying the presentations so far, and I'm fully confident that even today's presentation, which is all about how do you unlock the growth potential of your optometric practice, it's also going to add great value to your optometric business. And so I'm excited about today because I took time preparing for this presentation, making sure that I understand where your guys' practices or the industry in Poland is at the current moment and what it will need to get to the level where it is going to continue to thrive and excel beyond the challenges that we have been facing in the past year or so. Obviously, COVID-19 has had a massive impact on all of us throughout the world. And so we need to look at what are the things that we need to now start doing that can help us maintain peak performance levels. So a basic thing that you can think of, for example, is, let me put it this way. What is it that you need to invest the most amount of time and resources now that you are not doing before? So what is it that you have to create where the bulk or the majority of your time and resources needs to go towards? What is it in your business, for example, that you need to reduce, meaning that you need to start doing less of it, that you were doing a lot of it before? Or what do you need to stop doing completely that is adding no value to your business at the current moment? And so this presentation is going to help you understand key components of your business that you might need to adjust or relook at in order to get to the next level. And the presentation topics that we're going to be focused on for today are as follows. Number 1, marketing. Number 2, content development. Number 3, targeted audience. Number 4, how do you develop your unique value proposition for your business? With all these optometrists that are around you and everyone now wanting to grow their business, how do you distinguish your own value proposition when there are so many optometrists around you? And the last component would be, how do you operate or continue to operate on the highest level of excellence, revenue growth, and transformation? So those are going to be the presentation topics that we're going to be focusing on. I speak very quickly at times, but I'll take it slow so that you don't miss out on any of the content that we feel is very, very important for you to understand. Well, here's the thing that we recently did. It was like a survey that we were looking at different markets in different parts of the world in terms of how do we get to a point where our offering or our business services and products are entrenched in consumer minds or patient mentality and how they behave. How do we get to a point whereby the pair of spectacles that we are providing for a patient becomes something that they see as a necessity, something that they cannot go without, to a point whereby they realize that I need multiple pairs of spectacles, I need multiple pairs of sunglasses. How do we get to that point where we entrench what we offer as a business or as an optometrist to the point at which patients realize that they cannot go without that which we are providing? And so we did a quick survey to look at, in terms of the different opportunities or platforms that we use to connect with patients, to get patients to come to our businesses, to get patients to come to us for all their eye care needs. We did a survey where we looked at what component contributes the most. And this is what the survey was basically. We had 5 different components that people had to answer. The first component was direct referrals. How many patients come to your practice because they were referred by someone? Number 2, how many patients come to your practice because they searched you online? They went and Googled you or checked out your website, or they typed in Google or the or online search results and they were like, optometrist in my area. How many of them use that way of communicating or finding an optometry practice? Next, it was social media. How many of them come to your practice because of they saw you on social media, whether it be Facebook, whether it be Instagram, whether it be Twitter or any other social media platform? Next, how many of them come to your optometric practice because they were walking past the area where your optometric practice was located in, and as they were walking past your practice, they realized that, wait a minute, I need an eye exam. And so they went in your practice to inquire about the services that you are providing. And lastly, influencer marketing. With the new world that we are living in now, social media being such a dominant component of how we communicate with our patients, influencer marketing has been something that has been growing. And so that was also one of the other questions that we were asking in terms of how many people are following a particular influencer, and because of that influencer being associated with your practice or your brand, they then also resulted in them connecting with your brand. So those were the 5 components that we looked at. And funny enough, majority of people still come to your optometric practice based on direct referrals. So that still is the most dominant component in which people come to your practice because of it. It's not because of influencer marketing. It's not because people were walking by. So number 1 was, for example, direct referrals. Someone got services from your practice, they were happy, and they tell their friends, their family, their colleagues, and those people are now also coming to your practice. Next, it was website searches or Google searches where they were looking for an optometrist and your practice is the one that they found. So if you are having a website for your optometric practice, how are you ensuring that your website is relevant, speaks in a manner in which patients can relate with it? It's connecting people to your brand. It's simplified. It's more visually appealing. Remember, pretty websites don't sell things. So a lot of people have pretty websites, but it does not necessarily mean that those pretty websites are resulting in a connection or an engagement between the practice and the patient. Direct call to actions are the ones that help making sure that your website can connect with the relevant individuals that will come to your practice. So how you structure your website, it also is very, very important that you understand that the messaging on your website, it's not for optometrists. It's not for eye care individuals. You need to be speaking directly to patients. So a patient who's got no idea what myopia is, who's got no idea what presbyopia is, when they come to your website, do they get a sense that you are communicating their problems in a manner in which they can be able to relate with it? Next was social media. A lot of the times on social media, people make a lot of noise. They look at what another practice is doing and they feel like, or they think that by simply copying and pasting what they see another practice doing, it will work for their own business. It does not work like that. And so, as much as people come to your practice because of your social media activity, with everyone being online, with everyone developing or creating their social media profiles, you have to be very careful that you don't just do what another brand is doing. You need to ask yourself, who is my audience? Who am I targeting? What do I want them to experience when they come to my practice? And that which you want them to experience when they come to your practice, that which you want to be communicating with them, is that which you need to be displaying on your social media platforms. So people need to see diversity. People need to see how that which you're doing as a practice, they are able to relate with it. So you need to structure your social media in a manner in which you are relatable to the millennials. You are relatable to the Generation X. You are relatable to the baby boomers. You are relatable to the different buying generations that are on social media now, because a lot of people have gone online. And your messaging and your brand positioning on social media platforms needs to be in a manner in which it helps you connect with brands or people more effectively. So there has to be a fine balance between audio related content, for example, visual related content, and so forth. So just think about it, that don't just be on social media for the point of just being on social media. Have a specific objective that you want to achieve and focus on that with intention, that this is who we are targeting. This is who we want to be communicating with. And this is what we want them to know that they're going to experience when they come to your brand. So social media is a powerful tool that you can be able to use that can get patients in. And of course, general walk-in and influencer marketing. And so with all that I've said so far, one of the things that you need to understand about your business is that your business urgently needs to acquire new skills that go beyond traditional selling methods. You need to learn new ways that enable you to take advantage of being online. You have to evolve from relying on outdated marketing initiatives and promotional activities. And then lastly, you have to be unconventional. You have to get uncomfortable in how you approach the different patients and be willing to do things that are outside of the box. That's very, very important for you to understand. And so let's get right into it. That was just a brief introduction, a short background of me. I would have loved to do this in person, so that I feel people's energy when I'm sitting in front of them. As much as we are all online and this amazing conference is taking place online, I've been fortunate enough to have been speaking at various local and international conferences over the years. And so this image that you're looking at right now, it just shows you some of the events that I've had the privilege and the pleasure of being part of. On a month-to-month basis, we run various workshops that people attend as optometric practices on a monthly basis, where we train them on sales, on leadership, on business development, on marketing, on various components that can help them with their optometric businesses. We run various online platforms, and these online platforms are showing optometrists how they need to create a balance between the academic, the clinical, and the business components of an optometric practice or of eye care that help them ensure that those three components work cohesively and effectively with one another. So our online programs is something that we are passionate about. We are also authors. We have published various optometric related books or eye care related books. Some of them are on their way to Poland right now, and I'm sure that they're going to add great value to your optometric businesses and careers. And so we have written various books that are changing the way optometrists run their businesses. And so that's just a brief introduction in terms of the type of work that we do. And so the first topic, as we mentioned earlier on, would be marketing. Let's get right into it. Yeah, so marketing plays a critical role in helping you unlock the growth potential of your optometric business. How? Well, e-commerce is the fastest growing platform of opportunity for all industries. This is a result that for the first time ever, the consumer has a choice and the power to decide on what they will spend their hard-earned money on. So think about it. COVID-19 has affected multiple people, multiple businesses, right? The majority of people know that they have their eyes examined on a yearly basis or a 2-year basis. But now, because the economy is not where it used to be, for example, Someone who was having their eyes examined on a year-to-year basis now decides that my pair of spectacles is still okay. So I'm not going to change my glasses, even though I'm due for my appointment. So they don't end up changing their spectacles when they do, because perhaps they can't afford changing their spectacles right now. So they go with their glasses for an extra year. Those who are coming every 2 years are now stretching that pair of spectacles to 3 to 4 years instead of changing them every second year. Those who are getting the various tints, coatings, and on their spectacles, all of a sudden they downgrading they tints and they lens features to more basic options. And so, how do we stay relevant in times whereby patients are being exposed to various other things that they need as well? So how do we ensure that from a marketing point of view, we are communicating our offering as optometric practices in a manner in which it is still relevant to patient needs, in a manner in which a patient, even though so many businesses, so many other industries are communicating with them online, basically, how do we ensure that our marketing speaks directly to patient needs? So we need to be very careful that we are evolving through our marketing activities. And I'll show you now how do we do that. And so the consumer right now, or the patient right now, you need to understand one thing, is more important than anything else. And your optometric practice or brand needs to prioritize the consumer. Patients are going to go for brands that help them survive and thrive. So if your optometric practice is not structured or positioned in a manner in which you are helping you are helping a person survive and thrive, and the person can see through your communication, can see through your marketing activities, can see through your social media activities that, wait a minute, this brand speaks directly to what I need. You're going to start losing those patients to other brands if you are not positioning your brand in a manner in which patients can identify themselves with what they need with your brand. So that's very, very important for you to understand. And so what we have seen is that a great challenge with many optometric practices is that they are not patient focused, or they're not patient centric or consumer centric in how they position their brands. What do we mean by this? And I'll just touch on a few points. Point number one, patients no longer care about the products that you are selling if those products don't have a direct meaning to what is important to them. And so you have to understand that, for example, the image that you're looking at right now, it's a picture of a lady that says, I can't leave home without my glasses. And so I made sure that I have more than one pair so that I'm always looking fabulous wherever I go. So a statement like that with this image, this is what people will want to be able to see on your online activity, where it's a testimony of a person, and this is how you need to be putting your testimony on an online platform. Not this thing of you just see various testimonies on various websites of people, but the message has got no direct meaning to what a person is actually experiencing. So how you put a person's testimony on your website needs to be exactly with this image that you have just seen right now, in terms of the products that people are getting from your brand need to have a direct meaning towards how they are changing a person's life. So that's how you position your communication with your patients with regards to the offering that you're doing. A second example, patients want quality products at the time that they want it and in the manner in which they want it. And most importantly, at the price that they personally deem is affordable to them. The only way to ensure that you can make sure that patients are going to get the products that you are recommending to them and pay for them at the price that they're supposed to be paying for them, and that they understand that I actually need this. You need to ensure that you are communicating value and quality So the image that you are seeing here right now, it's a bold statement. Quality is an absolute priority. When it comes to the things that are important to my everyday life, I never compromise on ensuring I have the very best. So when you are communicating a testimony, this is how you should actually be communicating a testimony that you got from a patient. Remember, at my introduction, we made mention of the fact that direct referrals are still a dominant feature or component that results in people coming to the optometric practice. So instead of having a generic image of someone on your social media pages, when you understand the quality and the value that a person is experiencing from your brand, ask for that testimony. And on your online platforms, this is how you put or portray that testimony. You have to do it in this manner, because this is what patients can relate with. When they see someone exactly like them, and you can put a person's name at the bottom of the image, where on this image with the phrase, put that the person's name. So the testimonies that you are getting from people, let it be specific to your brand offering. Don't just have people randomly giving you testimonies. Ask if someone that you've been helping for a lot of years is happy with the quality and the service that they're getting from your brand. Be specific in asking them for the type of testimony that will be relatable to other patients that are just like them. Next, your brand needs to take people on a journey of self-discovery and to a place that they have never been before. So a perfect example with the image that you're seeing now here, it could be an image of someone that on your social media, guess what? I'm reading again. I hated reading. Then I got a pair of spectacles and now I absolutely love reading. That's a testimony, and you can add a person's name on it. So that is something that is practical, that a patient who goes onto your social media or who goes onto your website can be able to identify with an image like this, because it speaks directly to what they are struggling with. So that's also an example. Next, your business needs to represent something of value to the consumer that they can identify with. And so that is something that you have to be aware of, that represents something of value that a person can identify with. Next, every consumer needs to be treated as a very important, or every patient needs to be treated as a very important person within your optometric practice. And so here's an image here that this is a suggestion or a recommendation that we are suggesting for your business. With every single person that comes to your optometric practice, when they come and collect their pair of spectacles, you can actually take a picture of them and tell them that this picture is going to be used for you. And if they do approve for you to use it on their social media, then so be it. Use it on your social media. But imagine when every patient comes to your practice, after they've received their pair of glasses, you take a picture of them, and this is the image that you are sending them, which says, "Thank you for choosing us. We value and appreciate your time. We appreciate you giving, and we are excited about giving you the best vision you have ever had." So imagine someone is busy choosing a pair of spectacles. You take an image, and after they leave the practice, you send them that very same image with this phrase attached to the image. It's personal to them. They get to relate that, wow, this practice is very thoughtful and attentive to detail. So this is something that with the practices that we work with in South Africa and other regions in the world, we do this for them by creating images like this. Next, the patient should always be the hero of your story and not your brand. So this is exactly what this image is actually talking about, where thank you for visiting our practice today. Messages like that with every single patient go a long way. Remember that. And so more than getting our products into the market, what's important is to be able to communicate why patients need our products and services to begin with. So always remember that it's not about how many people we can get spectacles to. It's about how many people realize that they need that which we are offering. And then it's important for us to communicate our offering in a manner in which patients can relate with. That's something that is very, very important for you to understand from a marketing point of view. And so your marketing should have the following components to it: digital and social selling strategies, digital researching. So research your audience, research the different types of individuals, understand how lawyers, how doctors, how engineers, how architects, how construction workers, what are their challenges on a day-to-day basis? What are the things that they're frustrated about on a regular basis? And then ask yourself, how does vision impact them? Don't just be generic about your marketing, always just communicating the hours that they're spending in front of a computer. No, make it specific to their problems on their day-to-day environment, and then communicate your pair of spectacles or your messaging about spectacles and contact lenses in relation to their environment. Next, your marketing should continue having the following components: sales enablement strategies, communication strategies and tactics, patient analytics, social content depth, digital sales messaging specific to that particular individual. Consumer needs to be engaged and not be given sales pitches. Always remember that you want to connect with people through the activities that you are doing with your marketing. You're communicating in order to connect. When you connect, you're giving yourself an opportunity for that person to understand that they need that which you are offering and they cannot go without it. So always remember that whatever you do with your marketing, you are communicating in order to connect. And so those are the components that your marketing needs to have. Let's break it down in a more in-depth approach regarding your components. Let's look at a marketing. It will be done in 5 parts: a marketing strategy, product and services marketing, sales enablement, client intimacy, and how do you elevate your brand equity. So the first one, from a marketing strategy point of view, there are 2 different types. You have your internal and your external communication. And then whatever that you do, always think of how do you create or generate leads back for your business. So whether it be on your website, on your social media, create opportunities for leads to be generated. So subscribe to this, do surveys, do polls on your website, on your social media that create engagement that results in you having an opportunity to generate leads that you can follow up. So on our website, we've got multiple websites for our business. And on the different websites that we are having, we are having lead generators on our websites so that we know that, oh, wait a minute, this person has been clicking on our website regularly. This person has been, so one of the things that we do on our website, we get people to subscribe onto our website. And what happens is that when they subscribe onto our website, not on a newsletter, no, the actual website, they subscribe to our website. And that helps us that every time that person is on our website, we get to see what is it or how often they come to our website. Why are they on our website? What are they doing on our website? That helps us to understand that, wait a minute, this person has been coming to our website looking for this. So we are able to send them a direct message to say, hey, we saw you are looking for this. Is there anything specific that we are able to assist you with? And so it creates that direct approach that you are having to follow up on leads. And with regards to number 2, your product and services marketing, be aware that you have to have clear targeted audiences or clear audiences that you are targeting. And so how you communicate your products and your services on your various platforms, you need to communicate them in relation to what patients connect with the most. So don't just be communicating your promotions. Don't just be communicating for the sake of communicating. Communicate with a specific objective in mind, that your messaging and how you're positioning your messaging on the various platforms that you're using, is it resulting in people connecting with it? Because if it's not, then there's something wrong that you are doing. Next, sales enablement stuff that you need to be doing. As a business, one of the things that we will highly recommend for you is that run campaigns. Run campaigns. Run campaigns that are specific to your community that you are operating in. So if you are based in a particular region where your practice is located, understand what activities are common or part of their culture within that community. What do people like doing in that community? What do people need in that community? What are the things, fun activities, leisure activities that people love doing? Once you have an understanding of that, then you run campaigns that are associated with what will bring people together. So this year in 2020, we have been running multiple campaigns. For example, on iAfrica Media, we ran a campaign which was Eye Care Image of the Day. That's a campaign that we're currently running. And what we recommend is that for optometric practices, they can run a campaign that is specific to the patients that come to their practices. So your campaigns need to be patient focused. So our campaign are optometry focused. Your campaigns need to be community focused, patient focused, so that the thing about a campaign, it's all about bringing people together, making people feel like they belong, making people feel like, wow, I'm connected here. And when they're connected there, it elevates your brand to a whole nother level. And your campaigns can be running on YouTube, social media, or on your actual website. And so we've also ran another campaign, the Women in Eye Care campaign. And our brand grew exponentially as a result of that. So always ask yourself, what campaign, instead of running promotions, because 10 years ago we were running promotions, 20 years ago we were running promotions. Right now, the trends that we're seeing is that campaigns create engagement, and engagements create connections, and connections create sales. And so run campaigns. That's a tip for you. And the fourth one, it's client intimacy. The thing that you need to understand is you have to build loyal customers or loyal clients. And you cannot have loyalty from your patients if you are not making each and every one of your patients feel like the most important person to come to your optometric practice. So how do you ensure that you build loyalty? It's very simple. Know what the expectations are of every single person that comes to your optometric practice. Once you have an understanding of the expectations that they are having, you then have an opportunity to exceed those expectations. So you have to exceed expectations and be consistent in exceeding those expectations. So if you're going to be communicating with patients on a regular basis, one of the things that you need to be communicating with them on the most is your appreciation and of them, that you value them. So don't always be in a thing where you're communicating, the only time that you're communicating with people is telling them about that they're due for their next appointment, they're due for their next eye examination. No, you need to be communicating with them on a regular basis, on a quarterly basis, how valuable they are, how much you appreciate them. You thank them for coming to your optometric practice. That builds loyalty, that builds appreciation from them to you, and you are able to connect. And that's how you build client intimacy. And then next, how do you elevate your brand equity? This is all about creating a story brand. What is the story of your brand? So your brand has to have a story that people are able to connect with. So if you don't have a brand story, let me ask it this way. When people think of getting their eyes examined, when people think of getting a pair of spectacles, when people think of upgrading their pair of spectacles, what would make them think about your business? Or let me ask it in a different way. What about your brand makes people want to be associated with your brand? What about your brand makes people want to associate with it? And so that's something that you need to understand. It's very, very important for your business to understand. So The ultimate objective of any strategy that you need to employ or that you decide to employ in your optometric business is that it needs to be patient-focused or consumer-centric. It has to be aligned with the business vision. It has to be representative of your company values. So what are your brand values? What are your values that are determining your value proposition, for example? What values do you represent? Always remember that. Your marketing strategy has to be authentic and unique to your specific audience members that you are targeting. It has to be strategically positioned to drive sales revenue up. It has to be measurable and practical in its application. And of course, it has to be both user-friendly for the practice and for the patients. And it has to be lifestyle-orientated, and as it needs to be moving beyond eye health and management. So you have to have clear strategies in place with regards to your marketing. And some of the components that I was alluding to now are just are key areas that you can focus on or touch base on with regards to your marketing strategy. Next, it's all about content development. Because everyone is online, content development is a massive, massive opportunity for you to utilize in order to unlock the growth potential of your business. And so content development involves the following components: research, analytics. You have to have a content strategy and development. There's writing and putting of ideas together in a particular structure. Then there's the design and the layout. Then there's the proofreading and editing. Then you have to separate your content for the different audience members that you are communicating with. Remember how a 50-year-old will engage content will be different from how a 20-year-old will engage with the same content. So you have to be able to separate your content so that it speaks directly to the individual that you are targeting. And then understand the length of your content. Some content needs to be short captions. Other content needs to be long, specific. So when you're writing a blog and article, it has to be different from when you are on Twitter with the same topic, or when you are sharing a vlog or having a video on YouTube. So there are certain times or occasions where you need content that will be for 30 minutes. But then there are also times where you just need a 30-second video clip where you're explaining your content. So there has to be versatility and diversity in the different types of content or lengths of content that you have. Next, you have content development involves objectives of content in relation to the audience needs and requirements. So understand what a 30-year-old needs, a 40-year-old needs, a high-incoming earner needs, a middle-incoming earner needs, a low-incoming earner needs. So the different generation types as well as the different market segments, those are different people. And so you have to have clear objectives in terms of your content. Does it speak to the different individuals? And then, of course, the different platforms to use to disseminate the information. What you do on Facebook would be different from what you're doing on Instagram, on YouTube. It could be the same content, but how it's distributed on those different platforms would make a difference. Next, it will be that the following types of content needs or are required for your business: social media, website, media releases, corporate reports, infographics, presentations, newsletters, blogs, and videos. So those are the different types of content that you need: videos, blogs, newsletters, presentations, infographics, corporate reports, media releases, website structures, as well as social media. So you have to have an awareness that these are the different types of content that are needed. And lastly, over and above all this content that you are having, your content needs to be authentic, relevant, customized to the generation type, be in line with consumer purchasing decisions, and it has to be market segment specific. it has to be patient focused or consumer centric, it has to be revenue growth generated, and of course, it has to be unique to what will set your business apart. So don't just be copying what other people are doing and expecting the results to be for your business. You have to be unique to what will be most valuable to your optometric practice. All right, the third topic, target audience. This is a topic that I like very, very much because it helps you understand that with regards to target audience, patients have different goals that they have when they come to your optometric practice. For example, a goal that a consumer might have would be to get rid of dry, irritated eyes, have comfortable vision when they're sitting in front of a computer. That could be a goal. They would want to have clear vision when they're driving at night. They would want to wear contact lenses. That could be a goal that brings people to your optometric practice, that they want to wear contact lenses. A goal that they might have would be they would want multiple pairs of spectacles instead of just having one. They would want to be seeing well when they're doing various leisure activities or playing sports. They want to wear eyewear that is trendy, stylish and fashionable. That could be a goal that someone has when they come to your optometric practice. They would want affordable eyewear or affordable quality products that represents or describes their own lifestyle. And of course, maybe a goal that they have would be that they don't want to wear spectacles or contact lenses and they want other options that might be available for them. So those are some goals that your different targeted audiences might have or your patients might have. So what should happen once you have identified the goal that a particular individual has? It's very simple. Number one, express an understanding of the pain and frustration that that person has of not being able to achieve their goal. So when someone tells you what they need, put yourself in their shoes and let them know that you understand the frustration that they're having as a result of not having that goal being achieved. That's the first thing. Always remember, number two, an expression of empathy in the dilemma that the patient faces leads them to trust you. So once you have put yourself in that situation where they can see that you understand what they are going through and you have informed them and educated them of why they are going through that which they are going through, it leads them to trust you. Once they are able to trust you, whatever that you recommend as the solution to their problem for them to have their goal achieved, they will go with whatever that you recommend. So, and here's the thing, number three, patients want to be seen, heard, and understood. So when you are having a patient in front of you, listen to them. Let them know that you are hearing them, you are understanding them, and you are then communicating with them at the level of their understanding. Very, very important. And next, number four, once you have identified the patient's initial problems, let them know that you understand what they're going through and how you're going to help them solve or resolve that which they're going through. Number five, always remember this. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when you are communicating and you're putting yourself at the level of the patient, right? That's the first part. Once they are comfortable with you and they trust you, then the next thing that you need to do is take them to the level that you want them to be at. So you initially communicate with them at their level in order to take them to your level. You don't just start communicating with them at your level because they won't understand. You first come to their level, they understand that you understand what they are going through, what their challenges are. Then, once you have convinced them of that, you then take them to a whole other level altogether. And lastly, once the consumer or the patient is persuaded that your brand has the solutions that they need, they will go with whatever that you recommend because they will trust you. So that's very, very important. That one of the things that we recommend for your business that can help you stand out across the different platforms that your business operates on online is you need to have the following in place. 4 things basically that a brand needs to have or carry: compassion, clarity, creativity, and competence. Those are the 4 things that your brand needs to have every single day across all platforms: compassion, clarity, creativity, and competence. People need to know that you care. That's the compassion part. Clarity, your message that you're communicating needs to be simplified. Creativity, people need to see innovation, fun things that they can relate with. Those examples I gave you in terms of how you need to be positioning your marketing on your different social media platforms, that's the creativity I'm talking about. And competence, people need to see excellence. Excellence should be the only thing that is a must, that everyone in the practice, everyone in the optometric practice operates on: excellence. And that's the whole competency area. So that's the thing that you need to understand regarding the 4 things that are critical to your business. And so your business, as a take-home message on this, you always have to position your offering as something that the consumer or the patient really wants and cannot go without. So always ask yourself does this person feel, or are they convinced that they cannot go without this pair of spectacles? That's how you need to be communicating. Avoid making noise when you're communicating with the patients. Don't just copy and paste. I'll keep on saying that. Don't just copy and paste what you see other people doing. Be unique. Be unique to your audience. And here's the thing. People, when they come to your optometric practice, they want a worthwhile experience now more than ever. When people walk into your optometric practice, they want a worthwhile experience more than anything else. And so we live in a world today whereby whatever that we need to do, it needs to be environmentally and user-friendly. It has to be conveniently positioned. It needs to be customized to the individual needs of the individuals that are coming to your practice. It needs to be easily accessible and available to purchase on e-commerce platforms. If you don't have an e-commerce platform, something wrong that you are doing. And it has to be practical, affordable, and most importantly, value-driven. So whatever that you are communicating with your patients, your entire team needs to understand that when they're communicating with patients, they need to show them how practical the multiple pairs of spectacles are going to be on an everyday life. The benefits and features of the product needs to be well articulated in relation to how the person is going to experience the product. It's not about the product. It's about how the person is going to experience the product. And of course, communicate value. That's what you need to understand. Next, how do you develop your unique value proposition? I hope you're all still okay, and that I'm not going too fast, but I hope you're all still understanding. This presentation will obviously be made available post to this conference, and we are also available, and I'll provide my details as well, where if you want more clarity or if you want a personalized consult online that we can do for your optometric business, we are more than readily available to help you take your business to the highest possible level that it has ever been before. And so, how do you develop your unique value proposition? And it's based on the following components. Currently, everyone has patient information forms, right? And so, the question that we wrote here is how do you then make sure that the patient information forms that people complete, whether it be online or when they come to your optometric practice, how do we make sure that we're getting the necessary information from that content that they're completing that will help us help them better? So, for example, some of the information that you need to be having on it is, where did you get your current pair of spectacles from? Were you happy with the overall experience and service that you got? Did the prescribed management solutions address all the visual concerns that you had? How many pairs of spectacles do you currently have that you are using? How did you hear about us? Where or what can we do to improve the services that we are offering? So those are some of the questions that the patient information forms that people complete. These are some of the questions that you need to be aware of, that you need to be having on those forms, because that information gives you a lot of information that will help you help the patient much more better or much more efficiently. Next, ledger or lifestyle. Understand that it's got different components. People come to your practice because of visual related needs. And so don't go for the basic option. Make sure that you're always communicating, even if someone just came because they want to see better and they just purely came because of a visual problem. When you start communicating the management solutions to them, always start from the best possible solution or option that they have. Don't start at the basic and then the results show that this person actually needs something more advanced. Always start with the most advanced option when you're communicating management solutions or management options to patients. And the other thing that people will come, they will have a serious problem pertaining to their eyes that they are having. And so when someone already tells you of a situation where it's resulting in them not seeing correctly, that's an opportunity for you to communicate multiple pairs of spectacles from the onset, that you are having this problem. This is your visual environment at the current moment. This is what we're recommending, that you have multiple pairs of spectacles and you will be using them in this manner. Next, understanding of visual function. People need to understand why they are seeing the way they are seeing. Educate them. Next, high performance. Some people are not aware that they're not visually performing the way they're supposed to be performing because they've got the incorrect pairs of spectacles. So communicate high performance with individuals pertaining to their lifestyle and ledgers. A lot of people tend to wear their glasses for work-related purposes, but then for ledger and lifestyle-related purposes, they don't end up wearing their glasses efficiently. So educate them, communicate with them correctly. And then obviously, personalized brand. Personalize the experience that people get from the experience with your optometric practice. Next, working environment. So hours at work must always correlate with the product that you recommend or that was selected. Communicate usage and functionality of the management solution to the visual requirements of that working environment. So your team needs to be communicating, sir, the usage and functionality of this product is going to benefit you in this manner in your working environment. That's how you communicate. And so always elaborate on the long-term implications or complications of not getting the right product. So here's the thing about patients, right? They always look at, oh, this is what we need to be communicating with them. What will they be gaining if they go with what we recommend versus what will they be losing if they don't go with it? And so the benefits of what they will be gaining need to outweigh the benefits of what they will be losing. So always remember that. And that's what you need to be communicating all the time. And then visual challenges, or when you're doing your case history, for example, introduce high quality products from the onset and not at the end. So someone already communicates with you, I've got a problem with this. You already know that the best product for this will be as follows. Start communicating with that individual pertaining to the best available product from the onset. Don't wait until the end. So always educate the consumer in depth throughout the examination procedures or experience. Educate them to build trust. Educate them all the time. That's how you build trust very, very quickly. And always be in a position where you're going to be demonstrating how the management that you are recommending or the product that you are recommending is going to benefit them. Always remember that. So that's basically, and then lastly is the value. Value. People want to get value. So communicate value. If you are not communicating value, how are people going to know that they're going to get value from your practice? And so you have to know and clearly understand the different sales strategies that are applicable to optometric practices and ensure that you implement them on a daily basis. So the sales strategy approach that we recommend for optometric practices: number one, when people come to your practice, create a welcoming atmosphere. That's very, very important. When they get into your optometry practice, they have to be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. I've never experienced this before. Number two, start educating them. 3, exceed on the expectations. 4, convince them and persuade them that that which you have recommended for them is going to benefit them as follows. 5, always deliver above expectations. Always deliver on what you promised them. And lastly, number 6, follow up. Post someone getting a pair of spectacles, whether it's a new person that is getting spectacles for the first time or someone who has been wearing glasses all the time, but now you are upgrading them to a better product. Always follow up with every single person that you are providing services to, whether it be 2 weeks later or 2 months later. Part of following up is to know that that which you recommended for them is doing that which it's supposed to be doing. And so where do we need to be right now and how do we get there? Here's the thing. Personalize the consumer experience or the patient experience. Make every single person that comes to your practice feel like the most important person ever. Number 2, connect with patients. Your job is to connect. When people connect with you, they're able to trust you. When they trust you, they will go with whatever that you recommend. Number 3, your entire team needs to be competent when it comes to product knowledge. Everyone in the practice needs to know their product, the pricing, and most importantly, how the consumer or the patient is going to experience the product that has been recommended or that has been sold to them. So everyone needs to know the product, the pricing, and the product and how the consumer or the patient is going to experience the product on a day-to-day basis. Train your team in that regard. Make sure that you're always asking for feedback from every single patient, especially those who have been with you for a very long time. That whether it be online or you're sending them a message, hi, were you happy with the service that you got from us? How can we improve the service that you got from us? Ask it. That's how you're going to stay relevant, stay fresh, stay in tune with what consumer trends are evolving into. So if you're not asking for feedback, when patients stop coming to your practice, you won't know why, because you didn't take the time to find out how can you improve on the services that you are recommending or that you are rendering to them. Next, always send a thank you for visiting us to every single person. That's very, I give you the example of how you're doing it. So send that message. Thank you for visiting us today. We are excited about ensuring that you are going to get the best pair of vision or best pair of spectacles, and you're going to see amazingly again because of the pair of spectacles and contact lenses that we recommended for you. So always remember that. Next, capitalize or optimize your online activities. Don't just be online for the sake of being online. What's your brand value or value proposition online? What sets your business apart compared to other businesses? If someone has to Google you right now and they get to your website, is your social media offering the same as any other practice? Or are there key areas that set you apart that other practices are not doing? And always make sure that as a business leader, you get the buy-in of the team. Whatever that you do for your business, involve the team. Your team are the ones that are going to play a critical role in getting your business to the level it's supposed to be. So involve your team. Very, very important. And lastly, don't make excuses. People that make excuses are not serious about growing their optometric businesses. So you have to grow, stop making excuses. Make the changes that you need to be making. Don't just settle for how things have always been. Make sure that you are you are doing things differently. So a good question, for example, that we have for you is, how do you navigate from survival to thriving mode? You know, a lot of people have just been on a survival mode, but how do you operate here? And that brings us to the next section, and it's the last section, operating at the highest possible level of excellence. And so excellence is what sets your business apart from each other. And so always remember this: people cannot buy a product that they don't know exists. And so your communication needs to be authentic, specific to the audience members, and versatile. Don't be like everyone else. And you have to have a distinctive appearance about your brand that is different from everyone else. What is it about? Should you go online and start making YouTube videos where you are educating people about dry eye, contact lenses, putting a contact lens in, cleaning glasses, whatever that you need to be doing that can set you apart from everyone else? Start doing it. Don't say, I don't have the time, because a lot of people have that excuse that I don't have the time for that. But they're slowly not operating at the level of excellence that they used to be before. So start making those changes and do it now. Have that as distinctive appearance with regards how you approaching the consumer. And here's the thing that you always have to ask yourself: what do you want the patient to always remember when they come to your practice? When they experience or engage with your practice, what do you always want the consumer or the patient to always remember about your practice? Once you know that, then do exactly that which you want them to remember. Know the expectations that every patient has. In our books, we have a breakdown of the different characteristics that distinguish between the patient, which is that person that comes to your practice for the very first time and has never worn glasses. Then we also go and talk about the customer. The customer is that person who has purchased a pair of spectacles or contact lenses, whether it be from your practice or from another practice before, but they've probably worn glasses once or twice before. Whereas the client is that person who has been coming to your practice year after year for all their visual related needs. So understand that the patient, the customer, and the client all have different expectations and requirements when they come to the optometric practice. Your job is to exceed the expectations that each and every one of them have. Next, always simplify your messaging. That's something that I'll keep referring. Simplify your messaging. You're speaking to patients. So that which you are doing, do patients understand it? And so the easiest way to do that is to have an emotional appeal to your brand offering. So whatever that you do, it has to have that emotional appeal, and that someone can see themselves in your brand. Someone can see themselves in your product offering. And that is going to help you distinguish yourself from everyone else and operate at the level of excellence that your business needs to be operating at. And so one of the things that we talk about the red carpet experience. What is the red carpet experience? Remember, throughout the presentation, I've been mentioning that everyone needs to be treated like the most important person that comes to your practice, right? So we refer to that as the red carpet experience. And the red carpet experience involves the following components. Service delivery excellence, very, very important. Number 2, have a consumer-centric approach or a patient-focused approach in everything that you do. Speak value. So your solutions, your management options have to be value-orientated. So speak value. What will people be gaining if they go with what you recommend versus what will they be losing if they go without it, if they don't go with it? And then strong leadership. Strong leadership makes the difference in optometry practice. If you don't have strong leadership, and strong leadership means that you're taking your team to a level that they have never been before. Once your team gets to a level they have never been before, your team will take your practice to a level that it has never been before. And once your practice is at the level it has never been before, it means what you are offering patients is going to be something that is amazing. Next, be adaptable. What you were doing 5 years ago is not going to take you to the next level. So be able to adapt, evolve, adjust what you need to be doing as a business owner. And next year, have a working environment that brings out the best out of the team. Everyone has to have this going the extra mile type of attitude. So your team members, do they go the extra mile? Do they have a passion for their work, that they want to go the extra mile for the people that you guys are providing services for? And then always remember, convenience and the ease of access to the products and the services that you're recommending has to be very clear. And be innovative and be clear, or have a clear vision on why the team does what it needs to be doing. And so we wrote here, the following training needs to be done with your team. Some of these topics, so on our personal page, obimalope.com, you can actually go to my personal website, and we have the following training videos readily available for you. 1, consumer analytics. 2, innovative communication skills. 3, service delivery. 4, clinching the deal. Next, consumer requirements and expectations. Next, the numbers and how they affect the business. Next, product knowledge. And then management process of the patient. And then how do you become a catalyst in your working environment? So these are training videos that you are able to access, freely available on our website, that you can be able to watch. The other option, we put a lot of training videos on our YouTube channel. So subscribe onto our YouTube channel right now. Here's the link to the YouTube channel. We highly recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we share a lot of free training videos that can help you and your team get to the next level. And as a conclusion to this amazing presentation is navigating from survival to thriving. And here's some questions that we have put for you that we would want you to think about as a conclusion. What components of your business offering can you improve tremendously that the patients will notice and be interested in? For example, the time frames for products to be ready, payment options and gateways available to the consumer or the patient, advanced technology on systems, processes and equipment, increased communication platforms, options to experience the product before the product upgrades, before actually purchasing it, e-commerce platforms, service delivery enhancements. So the question under all of this is, what components of your business offering can you improve tremendously that the patients will notice and be interested in? Next, what key areas of your business are distinctively unique to what your competitive or your competition does not even have an awareness of? That's a second question that you need to be aware of or ask yourself. Next, what are you currently doing within or for your business to develop your team, increase your capacity, and enhance your business offering? That's the third question. And the last question is, what areas of your business can you surpass or outperform industry norms and standards? So those are the questions that we just want to leave you with in terms of thinking about, with regards to everything that we have said, that these are the questions that you need to ask yourself in you implementing the strategies that we have shared with you in terms of how do you unlock the growth potential of your business. These are the 4 questions that we just wanted you to just ponder on and think about going forward and discuss together with your team. And that's basically it for today. Please do find us online, www.visionstraight.co.za. Connect with us on our personal page, obimalope. Please do follow us on all social media platforms as @VisionStraight, or on our personal page @obimalope. And it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to be doing this presentation. Thank you once again to Justina and the team. And if there's anything that you might need from us as a company, we are readily available to assist you. My email address is obi@visionstraight.co.za, and we're readily available to connect with you and help you on your journey in unlocking the growth potential of your optometric business.